Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Trisbrina Show.
Yes.
And in tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the business of love and living a life in service.
How may I serve? This is episode 23. Come on in, pull up a front row seat. And if you're visiting us on Facebook, please like our page. And if you happen to be checking us out on YouTube, you know what to do. Subscribe! Welcome, dear friends.
We're also going to talk about some controversial topics. And if you're joining us live, we're excited to have you in the chat with us. We're going to talk about sin, karma, and lemonade.
Yeah.
Because
how do they relate?
You should always have some lemonade with your sin and karma.
The business of love is going to be a beautiful conversation. We've got a lot of teachers, healers, coaches, and uplifters here with us. And folks who just like to be in love. So we're going to talk about it as a business. How do you get into the business of love, Sabrina? How did you get into the business of love? And when did it become a business?
The business of love. Well, I love the phrase business of love because you probably know I'm just a baby in this business of love.
Oh, yeah,
right? And that was always one of my absolute favorite songs to do slow foxtrot to it. International style, slow foxtrot is so sexy. Everyone thinks the Latin dancing is what's sexy, but experientially, if you ever can do international style standard ballroom with someone who's really, really trained, wow, they say so much in just a foxtrot.
I always thought it was the Latin stuff, you know, with the hips and all that stuff. That was every time I hear Sabrina talk about these foxtrots, her eyes almost well up with tears. There's this experience of great joy. And so when we're talking about love, we're talking about a connection. We're talking about a connection to an experience that's so fulfilling, so wonderful, so aligned to the divine that you would just call that love. It's beyond just an emotional, I love you, I love you. It's a true experience of pure joy, pure love. So that's what we're talking about today. And the business of love. We want to dive into, well, first of all, we run a business. We've had businesses since we were in our teens, and maybe many of you watching have been entrepreneurs since you were younger, or you're sort of in the, what we will call the, what do you call it, the overlap? When someone's moving from one thing to another. Perhaps
like a lot of time the overlap is I'm working for someone else, I'm doing my 9 to 5, and at the same time I have my passion project that I would love to become my full-time gig. And for a while, there's an overlap. I certainly had that. Remember when I was a sandwich maker?
Yes, and delivery person.
No, I didn't deliver.
You didn't?
I made food for a vegetarian food cart.
Oh, but didn't you go around town?
No.
That was, you wouldn't do that.
No, I just made the food.
Anyway, we've been on both sides of that equation, working for others and also writing our own paycheck. And so with Satori Method, when we got into this as business, it wasn't really business. It was a way to serve. And if you know our story, you know that we went on a healing journey together, and then there was this experience of healing, and now it's time to share that with others. So how do you do that? You've got to spread the word and spread the love. And we used our business knowledge and our business skills to create DVDs and eventually online digital courses and all these different things to get that message out into the world. But it was always from a place of, how may I serve? So I could kick this off with the mastermind we went to recently. We were at a mastermind, which was all about expanding your membership environment, where people come into your programs and have an incredible experience, and that you just show up on video, you teach your classes, you engage, you connect, and you truly serve. And we were looking at the technology and different things that are evolving today. And one of the folks that was there he's a mover and a shaker, if you will, in the membership space, meaning he has created a service, a platform for entrepreneurs to be able to put their stuff on a membership platform. And he's recently really gotten into yoga. And so we were outside on the back deck at this mastermind just doing some stretching. He was asking about the back, and he's got some tight back stuff, and maybe he could join our Life Force Mastery Dojo. So we were going on and on about yoga, and I said, what's so beautiful about yoga is that it's about dissolving the lower self, and there's a practice called karma yoga. So we'll talk about karma in a moment, karma yoga. And he said, well, what is that? And I said, well, it's really a practice of being in the giving rather than taking, meaning that you just are asking, how can I give? How can I serve? How can I contribute? How can I provide? But there's nothing inside that's self-centered saying, but I want something back. It's a feeling of just unconditional giving. And he's like, oh, wow, well, how does that work in business? Because there needs to be exchange, transaction. I said, yeah, that's what makes it so tricky sometimes when you have this conversation about spirituality and business, and people get a little confused sometimes. Like, well, I shouldn't charge money for my services because I just want to give freely. And I said, you can still give freely and unconditional love in what you do, but there has to be a financial exchange, not always, but if you want to grow that business, an energy exchange in some capacity. And that is just a beautiful natural phenomenon that enables you to continue to serve and to feel comfortable in that exchange. And so Sabrina and I have looked at that many, many times because we've brushed up in it with our own psychology, wanting to just almost be like charity, like just give, give, give. But then you run out of the resources to serve.
And part of that giving is stepping into, who am I to charge for this?
That's true.
Right? So there's many, many, many layers. So my take on this karma yoga, the way that you just explained it, is that you give not because you're going to receive. So let's say you made a really delicious meal for someone, and you make it because you want to extend love. You don't make it only for the sole purpose of them doing something bad good for you, right? But what if you do that and you did it because you love, but that person doesn't accept it in a gracious way, maybe is rude, maybe just throws it in the trash? Then how does that make you feel? It's okay that it makes you feel like, I did that because I love you. That's not the way that you receive love. I think I'll give that love to someone else next time in that way.
I love this.
Right? So it isn't I'm doing it so that I'll get this from you, but it's always about you. It's always about me. If I give a gift to someone, it's because it makes me feel good. If I make Tristan a really yummy breakfast, it's because I feel really good making that for him. I love feeling like I provide that. It makes me feel good. But the fact that he enjoys it and tells me, thank you, yummy, can I have more? Then that's how that reciprocation happens. But if he was like, oh man, everything you make, they taste terrible, then I would realize I would have to find a different way to love him. Right? So this whole concept of karma, if we can chat about it.
Can we go back to what you just said? Because that was really juicy.
Yes, I'm very deep.
No, that was so clear and simple. You're doing it because it makes you feel good. Yeah. And because that's how you're pouring love into your life. And so whether they appreciate it or not, or any of that, doesn't really matter. You did it for the pure joy of you getting to serve. Yeah. And it ends there. Now what happens after that is what happens after that. Yeah? So whether there was a transaction or not doesn't matter. So when we said years ago, we were at another mastermind and someone said, what was your biggest breakthrough?
That's all we do. We just like go to mastermind.
We go to a lot of trainings. We're coachable. We love to up level, right? And how can I serve? We'll go and continue to train and learn and grow and expand. It's a beautiful thing. But we were asked to speak on our biggest growth. This was several years ago. Our biggest growth of that year. Like, let's call it a launch, something like that. If you've heard of launches, a launch you did, or
your big win,
your big win, a big high, conversion that you got, or whatever. And I said, that's not what's as important as to what happened to us this year. Is we had a realization that our business is an extension of our spiritual practice, and they became married and they became one. That's what we mean by being in service. Our business isn't business.
That's the business of love.
Yeah. How can I serve? Now, all the mechanics and the operations and the transactional components, those get taken care of as consciously as possible so you can continue to serve. But where we were coming from was this, how may I give? How may I love? How may I find an opportunity to spread healing and consciousness? And that's the win.
And that's why I brought up whether you might not have your own business yet, or that might not be something you're interested in, but we all have business. We all have business that we fill our day with. We all have opportunities to serve. what we fill our time with is sort of like our business, our busyness.
Yeah.
So we want to make everything about love.
Totally.
So let's get back to that karma idea.
Back to the karma concept.
So
Cool.
we've been talking about this a lot.
Over the
Karma,
years.
right? We affiliated with people and associated with a lot of people that thought good karma, bad karma. So something good happens to you. Oh, good karma. Something bad, bad karma. And that always felt kind of like heaven, hell, good, bad. And I was like, who's deciding? So my example to Tristan earlier today is 4 stray puppies show up on my doorstep needing a foster home. Oh, good karma for me,
She loves
right?
puppies.
4 puppies show up on someone else's doorstep. They don't want them. Bad karma. Same puppies, same situation. It's a judgment. So this whole thing about karma, is it really just what you sow, so shall you reap, right? If you follow more of the Christian doctrine than the karma philosophy, but it's kind of the same, don't you think? So whatever you put out, that same energy, it comes back to you, right? You put out the energy of love, love energy comes back. You put out the energy of being hurt, more hurtful things happen. Whatever we feed gets bigger, right? The old story that we tell about the white dog and the black dog, right? Whichever dog is stronger, and in this, all dogs are great, black or white.
Black
but
dog, white
but
dog.
in this analogy,
Black wolf, white wolf.
the black wolf represents like the lower self. You feed the black dog gets stronger. So it's whatever thoughts we're feeding in ourselves, that's what we get more of. That's why it's so important to focus on what you love, to focus on what you want, rather than focus on what you don't like, what isn't enough, and to focus on the negative, because in doing that, karmically, what you sow, so shall you reap. You will create more of that. Even though that doesn't seem to be your logical intention, that's where your energy is focusing. It's as though sometimes we're praying for the thing that we don't want because we're obsessing about the negative. We're
talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Chanting. Basically, we're chanting about what we don't
people
want.
say, oh, you just did something, and then you get like bopped on the head, and like, instant karma, right?
Yeah.
It's like what you're putting out is coming back. And some people say you have lifetimes of karma and you're here to work them out. And really, it's just momentum. Whatever you're putting your energy into, you're building momentum around that. So if you've been super concerned, fear-based, selfish, you put a lot of energy into that, you got to let that go and shift your focus. That's doing your karma work, right? That's shifting your intention and your energy or your vibrational set point towards that which is beautiful for you. And so is it good karma, bad karma? Sometimes it just is what it is, and you should be, I would say, leaning into what brightens your mood and lightens your day and makes you feel beautiful.
Yeah.
But again, that karmic yoga training is really about letting go of the self and the fear-based ego and doing actions and things that help you to release that and move into a vibration of love and giving. So whatever that is your karma yoga.
So you let your business, you let your busyness of the day be filled with love, be filled with that which you do want. And it's such an easy thing to do, is to think about how you feel. Are the thoughts I'm thinking right now and feeding myself making me feel good, are making me feel bad? And that's a great indicator, right? When I'm worrying about things, they're not making me feel good. And when I can shift that to, I'll just make up a story. Oh gosh, the flight we were on got canceled. We're going to be late to that thing tomorrow. They ran out of rental cars. We're probably going to lose our place at the hotel. They're like all that. And if I can slowly shift that into, I'm going to find a flight that's even better. And I'm sure that if I'm tapped into soul, I'm going to find the perfect place to sleep. And if I don't, it's because I'm supposed to have a rendezvous with someone that I don't even know about. And just to live in that state of trust towards positivity. And it can sound like, oh, that's pie in the sky, airy fairy. Well, do you want that, or you want to be miserable?
I want to speak to
right?
that.
Do you want to live a life bitching, right? Or do you want to live a life being in love?
We're sitting here, and it could sound kind of flowery, right? And poetic, and great. I hope it does. But it's not like, la 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 la, wishful thinking, just hope good thoughts happen. We're not saying that. Like, life has got grind to it. Life has got contrast. Life has got lots of opportunities, and we all get triggered.
Physical pain, emotional pain.
All kinds of getting up in your business. And you got to be in that moment able to hold space or shift state and get back into or choose love and joy. And that's the work. And we call it gong. It's qigong. It's a energy work. Life is energy work. So do you have the capacity in the moment to catch it and to shift and remember, no, I want to be of service right now, or I want to shrink, or I want to react and come from my blah, blah, blah state of mind. But like, let's get real about it. Every day is an opportunity. I always use martial art analogies every freaking moment. But I use martial art analogies because when you start learning martial arts, there's reactivity and fear. And you're learning how to punch and kick and then fight and spar. And your sensei or your teacher gives you people to fight with. And so at first you want to get them and they want to get you. And there's all this stuff. It's like these two battles coming together. And you're overcoming that fear and that egoic principle. But later you start knowing, oh, I know what's going on. You become a little bit more of an artist. You say, oh, that's not even going to get me. And then you have competence and you have flow. And you start to have actually a little bit of fun with it. And all of a sudden you're starting to dance with it. And it's not a battle anymore. It's a total dance. And it's playful. And you completely shifted the way in which you engage with life. I think if we can see life as training, because again, looking through the lens of a martial artist, it's all an opportunity to dance with it or to wrestle with it. I like dancing, as do you. So just use everything as opportunity to choose love instead of fear.
And it, like you were saying, it's not all la la la. We know, there are times that the triggers are triggering and the past is bringing up feelings. There are times that it seems like, wow, what you said so hurt my feelings. Right? I had one of these last week. Wow, you said that to me on the phone. And when he said that so hurt my feelings. And that, in that moment, at least I can say, I know that when I'm squeezed, whatever comes out of me is what's in me, right? The story of if you squeeze a lemon, what comes out is lemonade, and you can't blame anybody else for having lemon juice come out of you if you're a lemon. When pressure is put on you, what comes out is what was already in there.
Amen.
So in that moment when my feelings were hurt last week, and I'm like, there was no need to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I'm completely right in everything I'm saying. But what I wasn't right about is if I had been more centered, I would have been more compassionate to the situation, to the other person as well. But in those moments when I can't make the big shift to love, I can at least hold tight and know that my life is devoted to being a yes to love. My life is devoted to God. My life is devoted to be the highest version of myself. And whatever's happening right now, it's an opportunity for me to be more beautiful. And I can at least just hold there without sliding down the slide. And kind of when the emotion passes and I coach myself through it, I can rise. Because just to speak really honestly, not always in the moment can you be like, oh, I made him that dinner and I experienced such love and then he threw it in the trash can. That's okay, right? Probably not. It's probably.
And by the way, that didn't happen because I ate all of her food, but if it did.
But you prepare from love and then the person doesn't like it. The only thing it would be is to have that reflection, say, oh, that's not the best way for me to love that person. There's other people who would appreciate my love in that way. And then if that person didn't act in a loving way, just forgive them. They're doing the best they can.
Yeah. Versus the other thing. Screw you. How dare you treat me this way? Yeah. I don't deserve that. Can you hear the storylines running, right? That's an insult. Blah, blah, blah.
You wasted all that money. You wasted
food. My time. I deserve better than this. But you start telling that story, you can feel how your energy changes, the projection star, then the other version. And I remember one day we were sitting with our friend Ben years ago, and we were in, I don't know, like P.F. Chang's or somewhere, and we were all having this meal, And we were talking about reactivity and when people feel hurt. And he said, one of the principles of the ego is when you feel hurt, there's something inside that triggers it says, and now I want to get you back. And that's why we see in fighting, right, between people, you hurt me, now I'm going to hurt you back. Not everyone does that. Some people shrink and just feel shut down, although that could become a passive aggressive thing later. But there is this, you got me, I'm going to get you back thing, right? We've seen that in little kids do that too. But it's to check that and catch that and make sure that you're not getting looped in to that kind of ping pong match in your head. Like, oh, wow, that person has that choice. That thing came this way. What are you going to do with it? Right? What has Wayne Dyer said? When somebody throws something at you, that's their karma. When they do a negative in your direction, how you react to it is your karma. It's like, where are we at? And how do we react versus respond? There's a power in being able to respond over react, right? It feels so incredible to catch it, the reactivity, I'm going to get you back, and breathe and go, I'm going to choose love right now. I don't necessarily align with what's going on here. So I'm going to bow out of this argument. I'm going to bow out of this situation. This will show up in business. Not everybody will like the way you do your business. And they will sometimes throw stuff.
Or
right?
they'll make a lot of false accusations because they've been scammed before. And then if they don't receive an email from you within 10 seconds, they're like, you scammed me. Like, no, our email system takes 45 seconds.
This is why it's so important to be a conscious entrepreneur and really see it as the business of love. Yeah. Everything is an opportunity to level ourselves up, release and relax and let go of that reactivity and lean in from the artistry and the mastery and the commitment to love over everything. It's not just turn the other cheek. That's beautiful if you can do that. Sometimes you need just to fully bow out, and there's times when you actually do need to step in and do something. That's a different conversation, maybe for another Trisbrina show, but just make sure whenever you do that, you're still coming from love.
Right. Yeah, from the outside, you never know what's going on with someone. I mean, you can kind of tell from their face and if you can feel energy, but the most loving and kind thing sometimes will be to not speak, and sometimes the most loving and kind thing will be to speak loudly. It depends on the situation and what's needed. I have a little thing that I do. I don't know. I guess it's a self-taught trick. Is that if I've been provoked and I'm really trying to be in the business of love, and a situation happens, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, that's not fair. That's my thing usually. That's so not true. That's not fair. And I'll feel like the protector maybe of myself, or I'll feel like somebody's taking advantage of me, or how could they think that of me? Why, I am not, what do people say I am? Intimidating. I am not intimidating. Why do they think I'm intimidating? That's so not fair. Should I just not comb my hair anymore? Like, that really can bother me. And then I think, oh my gosh, this person that I'm irritated with, I'm giving them moments of my life and moments of my mind thinking about that silly thing they said. And that, in that moment, I can be like, no, man, of all people, I'm not giving you moments in my head. I'm going to shift my thoughts to gratitude. And I literally stop thinking about it. And I go back to my business of love, go back to an action that feels in alignment and in service, and just let it fade away. Because I feel like everything I do in my day, we do, our life is filled with business. Like
business of love.
Like business of love. And then even the busyness and the business of relationships, the business of taking care of the body, the business of communication. Can it all be the business of love? If that's our choice, the answer is yes. And then when you hit up against something and you're like, well, not that, yes, that. And that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity for good karma. That's the opportunity to change the way we look at it, so we start getting back something else. And the beautiful thing is, you can't blame anyone for the way you feel, and you can't blame anyone for your circumstances, because no one can make me feel anything.
Oh, that's so juicy though, right? Like, that's a really big
juicy lemon
to step into, is like, because how many times have we even said to ourselves, you hurt my feelings.
Yep. I
And
did last
it's
week.
true. Someone can say something and you can feel hurt. And I, look, I'll just be honest. I mean, I've done some things where I've hurt people's feelings. Now, that was when I was younger, and I try not to do some of the silly things that I used to do, like ways of speaking to people and ways of saying things. And it is on them, but it's also on us to be kind and caring and articulate in a way that's loving. But at the end of the day, when I react, I react.
Yeah.
I do want to own that myself.
Yeah, but if something happened to you when you were growing up, and every time you got spanked, your dad said milk every time he spanked you, and then you're with somebody and they go past the milk, and you're like, oh my God, it hurt my feelings.
Sure.
Like sometimes it's totally on the other person, and you have no idea that you were even involved. And those are the moments where when am I being triggered by something that isn't even happening, because it sure does look like it on the outside. And that's when I dive deeper into the business of love. So I guess the business of love is ultimately the little shifts that I make constantly in every moment, every day, to stay as much aligned to my soul as I can, and not to judge myself. Do not take time away from love to judge myself for the moments I was teetering back and forth, because it's moving balance. Yeah. It's not a stagnant balance. Alignment is this little, it's this moving alignment. That's the business of love. It looks like this.
It's a good business to be in. And being in service, if it can always be coming from that place of, how may I serve? What can I contribute right now? How can I give love? That is really what shifts your vibration into the most beautiful, expansive state. And you know what's coming your way. More of that energy that you're putting out. You know, karma's just like that law, right? What you're putting out's coming back. And so catch those moments when you have, there's many of them all day long, when you have a choice. What do I want to put out right now? This is why we love meditation and the things that put you into alignment, so that you just feel really connected to the source of love. Yeah. Which reminds me that we need to remind you about a special opportunity happening in Austin in about 1 month. 1 month and 6 days. Will you tell everybody what the opportunity is?
Yeah, we're doing 2 live events. They're each 2 days, and they're back to back in mid-February. And the first 2 days are big life breakthrough, where we're going to spend a lot of time together doing Qigong and meditation and some of the mindset training, similar to what we're doing here. We're going to do something called Qigong Strong, which is Qigong with weights. We're going to do joint mobility and things to have a happy, healthy back, and everything to put your energy in a state where you can have that big life breakthrough. Because when you feel good in the business of love, your body feels good. And when your body feels good, it's so much easier to be aligned. It's this beautiful flow back and forth. And that's on a Saturday and Sunday, I think. That's 16,
November
17.
16 and 17.
And then, we're butting up against that, the big business breakthrough. And the reason we're doing them back to back is because a lot of people would like to come for all 4 days. Now, a lot of people, no, we wanted this to be really hands-on, so we can only have room for, what, 35 people?
35? Yep. We've got room
Business of Love is Monday, Tuesday.
Yes, Monday and Tuesday. There's still room, but it is filling up, so we want to get the word out there ASAP so you can get your tickets and stuff. So I'm going to put this in for you. The Business of Love will be shared on Monday and Tuesday. This is for someone who loves to teach. You're a coach. You love massage or acupuncture, or yoga or qigong, or
you're an expert. You have a skill, something you want to share.
It can still work for someone who's new to business or wants to start a business. But if you already have one, or you've got a certificate in something and you want to know how to get to the next level, we're going to teach you what we do. You
said I have a certificate. You mean you're a certificate?
Certificate. Yeah, if you have a certificate that you bought at Office Max, and you can write on there that you're certified. If you have a certification in something that you want to get that love out into the world, we will help you. And we will help you in a big way, because we've been doing this a long time. And what that looks like is on day 1, it's really getting clear on your messaging, who it is that you're serving, and how to say the right things in the right way that will align perfectly with what you offer. There's an art to this, and we spent a lot of time figuring it out, and so we'll help you craft the messaging.
Mm-hmm. And right now, tickets for both events are half price. It's an early bird special. Each event would be $997. You can get either one for $497.
Awesome.
If you want to come to both, just put both in your cart.
Yeah, the 50% off early bird is happening still. Real quick on the other things that we're teaching for business is not only what's the messaging, but also, and this is important, this is really important, how do you find the clients? And that's an area that's something that we want to take our current students and new friends deeper into, whether it's using online methods or local methods. There's some select things that you do to be able to attract people to your classes. And then the other day, what we're going to work on is how to sign people up, what to say on the phones, what to say on your website, what to say in your emails, so that people are like, I'm all in. Get them to stick with you for a long time. We've had students for up to 20 years, and that's the game. So that's what we're playing at. Okay.
So it's www.satorimethod.com/
Big life.
Big
Come
life.
do some Qigong, do some meditation on the first 2 days, and then up-level your business. Cool?
Yep.
All right.
What else?
What else? Bye.
Right, if you're watching this on Facebook, so like the page so you get notified. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel.
Awesome, awesome. So it's an early date night for us. We hope you have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you soon. Hey, dance it out.
Tris Greener Show.